Primeau fan.
Thank you for having me.
Your fans are like...
What an honor to be here, Pete. You're a legend. You're a rock star.
I'm a legend in my own mind, said my wife.
If I can do it, anybody can do it.
I'm Mr. Selling from the Heart. What's this guy, Larry Levine, going to teach me about selling from the heart?
You are one of the most generous and authentic people around. And I think that's why you and your show are so attractive to people.
Welcome to the Pete Primeau Show. It is episode 280, and this is Ask Pete, where I just get to completely relax, doing it a little bit different, doing it with a twist. We have three sensational guests that are going to ask questions, and we also have some questions that were sent in. So we're going to get to that as soon as I pay the bills. If you have not read my book, Sell a Million, what are you doing? Do you really have that much traffic that you can't that you can't stand to use a few tips on how to get more traffic or how to make more profit? Grab that book on Amazon, guys. It's like stupid. It's under $15. If you want a sales book, here's a sales book. The other book sounds like a sales book, but it's a marketing and a business book. But this right here, Miles and Miles of Retail Selling Greatness. Don't miss out on this, guys. This is 3 years worth of sales meetings if you do a weekly sales meeting. So grab that book. And, that's not my book. It says Pete Primeau, but Brent Batterman, Randy Thompson, Chris Tahaney, Mel Opp, Jeff Janakovo, Scott Vaughn, Justin Trombo, Steve Carnes, Keith Castonguay, Mark Klingenberg, and none other than our very own Scott Vaughn all wrote great chapters. And let me tell you something. The mindset chapter that Scott wrote by itself is worth 10 times the price of the book. And that's straight out of his masterclass. So, guys, grab that book. If you want to sell more, you can start selling more after the first few pages. There's some mindset stuff there that will change your selling life. So grab those books. And I'd love for you guys to support Chris Tahaney's new project. What we're trying to accomplish with this is we want to elevate the industry. And we want to share success stories that we have where we've improved customers' lives. These are stories that are real stories for consumers to read and go, oh my Lord, I have a back problem. I have asthma. I have COPD. I have this problem and that problem and this and these salespeople solve these problems in this book. So if you have real stories about great successes with customers, send them to my friend Chris Tahaney at Mattress RSA Stories at gmail.com. And he will polish it up. He'll write it up. He'll send it back to you for your approval. If you've got a superstar salesperson and they are changing people's lives and you know some of those stories and they won't send it, you send it for them. Just my advice. So let's get behind this. Let's help Chris finish this book strong. We've got a great start. My friend RJ Williams, who's going to be on the show in just a few seconds, he's got some of his guys' stories in there, and it's super important for our industry. So let's get behind this. Send those stories into Mattress RSA Stories at gmail.com, and Chris Tahaney will take care of the rest for you. Thank you, Steve, and thank you, Greg, for sponsoring the show. Guys, gals, you guys and gals that own furniture and mattress stores, sometimes you have the loneliest job in the world. You don't know, who you can trust, what end is up sometimes. If you want to learn how to build, market, sell, and succeed in our industry, this is the place to be. Over 3,200 strong. You got everybody in here from other fellow store owners. We even have some sales pros in here. We have lots of sales reps, lots of regional managers, lots of owners of manufacturing companies. Everybody's in here. So come on in. It's 100% free. It's a great group, and absolutely join the group and say hi. I try to get in here several times a week, but Mattress Industry Network group is a great group. It is by far the largest networking group in our industry, and I like to think it's the best as well. And no, we got one more. Are you trying to fake me out, Chris Stone? Mattress Retail Toolkit. If you know that in your heart of hearts, there's a better way to do business, that you can actually own a business instead of the business owning you, where you can have a little bit of free time, a little bit more quality of life, this is the place for you. Whether you own a single store or multi-stores, whether you're a furniture retailer, a mattress store owner, an industry influencer, an industry leader, or you're a factory rep like I am, hit the QR code and join. I belong to this group. I recommend it. It delivers so much ridiculous value every month. RJ is a member of the group, and he is known as a world-class implementer, along with his partner, Tara Day, who also helps RJ implement all the things. Hit that QR code, and let's get this show started. Welcome, guys.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Pete.
For those of you who don't know my esteemed guests, RJ Williams, Gordon Hecht, and Scott Vaughn, if you've been alive and breathing and you're in the mattress industry, you know who these guys are already. But we're going to get started with a question from Chad Fisher, who sent me a text and said, man, that's today. I've got a doctor's appointment. I had a question. I said, send it in. I'll get it answered for you. Pete, you are one of the legends in the bedding industry. If you could name one person that had the biggest influence on you, who would it be? Thanks, Chad Fisher, bedding director, Brand Source. One person who had the biggest influence on you. I will give you a name, but first I have to tell you about some other names. And three of them are right here, believe it or not. Scott Vaughn and me probably have logged, if I were to say 100 hours on the phone, that's like way under 200, 300. I don't know, Scott. I have no idea how much time. And Scott didn't know as much about the mattress business as I did when I first met him, but he knows as much or more now. He is amazing. But the biggest thing that I learned from Scott is I learned what it was like to be hungry again. And that is the same exact lesson that I learned from RJ Williams. When I met RJ at Scott's Masterclass, I looked over there and I saw a dude with hunger in his eyes. I saw a dude that wanted to win. I saw a dude that was here, who was serious, who was taking the material, working it through in his mind, and who was grabbing people in the hallways and basically accosting them, like trying to get conversations going. And RJ, you have no idea what you mean to me. So before I get to the main one, I wanted you to know that. And Gordon, we were introduced by a mutual friend, and I feel like I got cheated out of years of my life because every time I talk to you, Gordon, I learn something. And I remember something from yesteryear. And while our paths were different, they were very similar, and we share a lot of ideas. But you are a true thought leader in this industry, Gordon. So thank you for being here. And there's one other person who's not here. He would have been here if he could have. And that's Jeff Janakovo. He's had an extraordinary influence, and he's I'm thinking he's at least 15 to 20 years younger than me. And Jeff has been right on so many things. He has seen where the ball was going, where the puck was going, before anybody else in this industry. And I saw it with him many times, and he's had a huge influence. But my final answer is Bob Sherman. Bob Sherman was the president at CERTA. I remember him saying to me, Pete, you're not going to be a rep. You're going to be a sales manager, probably a regional manager. And we're going to own this whole country someday. And that's when we had one factory. And when I left CERTA, we had 3 factories. And later they added more and more and more factories. So you're probably thinking to yourself, so what did you learn from Bob? Some really super simple things. First, always be learning. I was never on an airplane with Bob Sherman that he didn't have a book in his hand. I never passed Bob Sherman going to the lavatory in the airplane and his head wasn't in that book. He was constantly trying to learn. And here's the funny thing, and I told all of my children this. If you go to college and the day after college, you go, I'm a college graduate, I'm going to stop learning, you're a loser. You're a loser. I don't care if you got sheepskin or not. You've got to be hungry. You've got to read every day. You've got to improve yourself every day. We have these things called podcasts. I don't know if you guys have heard about them, but that's one of the lessons I learned from Bob. The other one was potential volume. Never look at a dealer for where they are. Look at where they can be if we help them and we give them a chance and they implement some things. Don't look at where they are. Look at what they can be. And I think that's been the key to my success in my career. I have never, ever looked at one dealer and said, well, that's where they are. They're stuck. No, we look at them based on their attitudes. Do they want to change? Do they want to get better? What can I do to help them get better? So potential volume, always be learning. And, you know, a lot of people are going to laugh when they hear this. Chris Tahaney, I wish you were here, brother. Chris Tahaney says, great gathering. No better way to fill an hour of my drive. Have a great chat, fellas. Thank you, Chris. You should be on here. If you think of a question that you want to ask us, feel free to chime in. So I'm going to tell you a couple other things about Bob. He was a coach. And you got to understand something. When I came to him, I was 9 years in retail. I was not a rep. I was not polished. I was wet behind my ears. I did not know anything from anything. I wanted to learn, and he was a great coach. And he looked at me one day when we were traveling in a car, and he goes, Pete, do you realize that after we finish buying all of these factories that we're going to buy, he goes, you might be the very last rep that ever travels in a car with me and like visits dealers one-on-one. And I said, that's cool, Bob. I don't know what he wanted, but I said, that's cool, Bob. So I was coached by him, like personally, like, this is what you did good, Pete. This is where you screwed up. And that education that I got from Bob Sherman is a PhD in being a mattress rep. And the last thing I'm going to say about Bob, and I'm going to let my other friends have a crack at this question, because I think it's a great question from their standpoint. You know, when you can make money for somebody and you can produce for somebody, you're tethered, right? And, Chris Tahaney and me are a great example. We have a friendship that doesn't matter whether he's my boss at Protect the Bed, he's my boss at Dream Fit, or he's not my boss at all. We're just friends. We care about each other. Well, Bob Sherman became my friend in the few short years I was there, and I really didn't know it. So this is what he did for me. Make a long story short, I got pissed off. I was immature and I quit CERTA and I didn't have a job. I used him as a reference to be the vice president of sales at White Dove. Not only did he give me a reference, he negotiated my deal. He told Henry Goodman, you're out of your ever-loving mind. Pete will say yes to this money because he doesn't have a job right now, but you're going to lose him within a year. Give him this, give him that, give him an incentive, and you'll keep him for longer. And he negotiated my deal. How do I know this? Henry Goodman told me. He goes, your ex-boss, Bob Sherman, loves you. And he negotiated this deal for you. That's true. Here's two other things really quick. Bob doesn't even know I know this. So he was running, and this isn't public knowledge, so I'm not going to use the names of companies, but he was basically running a company, and the question came up, who's going to be the rep? And they said, Pete Primeau. Is that okay? Because if Bob Sherman says it's not okay, Pete Primeau is not going to be the rep on this account. You understand that, right? And he said, yeah, Pete's the best. Absolutely want to have Pete as my rep. He doesn't even know I know that. Here's the last thing. And this goes to kindness. He has no reason to call me. He calls me out of the blue. And he said, Pete, I knew you were one of my best guys. But until I looked at the numbers of this company that we were buying and I saw the money that you've been making for the last few years, I had no idea how well you were doing. And I just want to tell you, I'm really proud of you. He didn't need to do that. So it's Bob Sherman. How about for you, Gordon? Most influential person.
Hard to divide it to one, so I'll give you three real quick ones, and
Sure.
two you know, and one you may know. So I was a furniture guy my whole life up until 2008, and at that point I was working with Ashley, and Ashley went into the bedding business, and it was under a direction of a guy named Joe Hunt, who you know.
I know Joe. Love Joe.
And Joe partnered in with me to get the line expanded into the Ashley home stores that I was working with. And we worked a couple of projects together. And then he called me and said, I'm going to be leaving Ashley. You need to apply for my job. And I had about this much bedding knowledge. I knew that you can sleep on them and you can't flip them. And that was about it. And so my very first boss in the bedding business, who was my number two person, Ben Thorward from Ashley. And Ben just said, this is your project. Ashley Sleep is your project. And allowed me to create a line, and it was a line based on my retail instincts and not my manufacturing instincts of what price points. First thing I thought of is what price points do we need to sell? And when we were getting floor placements, I packaged the floor placements to encourage dealers to buy more than one model, to buy 6 models. The very last person was Mike Uni from CERTA when I worked with him. And Mike was a great boss to work with. I worked with him for 7 years. And his superpower is he always promoted his people. So when things went well, it was never Mike Uni did it. It was Gordon did it, or it was Kurt Grady, who was my partner. And he always talked about us and made us famous people at CERTA rather than just himself.
That's a great group of guys. Thank you, Gordon. Scott, what you got, man?
Well, it might come to no surprise to anybody that knows me. My greatest influence is Zig Ziglar. Um, I love all things Ziglar. Uh, listen to him all the time. He's been gone 14 years, I think now. But friends with Tom, his son, and got invited to go to the Zig 100 show in Nashville. So I'm going there in October. But Zig Ziglar turned me from the most timid and scared salesperson ever to having some confidence in myself and my company. Created a company with his quote. Put that online this week, and Tom Ziegler himself said that's awesome. But his greatest quote ever is, "You can have anything in life you want if you'll just help enough other people get what they want." And that quote is awesome because it's true. So it's all about helping other people, not getting for yourself. So just like Gordon talked about Mike Cuny, who I love Mike Cuny too, giving the other guy credit. Oh, I've got a really cool thing while we're talking. So I don't know if y'all can read that or not.
Yep.
There's no limit to what I'm reading backwards. What a man can do or where he can go if he doesn't mind who gets the credit.
Amen.
Ronald Reagan had this on his desk. And so I went to Reagan Library, and that was my one purchase I bought at Reagan Library in California. So giving other people credit and taking the blame when it doesn't go right. So, but Zig Ziglar, definitely overall. And then I'm not blowing wind up your skirt here, Pete, but you're definitely the most influential person in the industry, the most giving human being I've ever met. Definitely Pete Primeau in the industry. You've got so much knowledge, and that's total BS what you said about me earlier. That I know as much as you do. You've forgotten more than I'll ever know, but I appreciate the kind words. But definitely, Pete, you have influenced me. Those two terrific books. Every retailer should have them, not just mattress industry, but every retailer should have them. But definitely, if you're in the mattress or furniture business, you got it. It's a got to get. So those books are amazing, full of knowledge and wisdom and tips and inspiration, all in two books. So amazing job, my friend.
Thanks, Scott. Trying to make me cry. RJ, you're up, brother.
Like all of you gentlemen, there's so many. I draw inspiration and try to take influence from people who have been successful and who have already been here in the industry. Guys like Fawad Zavari, who I absolutely love. I don't even care about him now, just as a human being, right? As my brother from another mother, I love him. Kristen Sugar, who's been instrumental in helping and giving me advice and when needed, both good and what to do and what not to do sometimes. But by far the three biggest influences, and two of which are on this podcast right now. Scott, again, I get emotional. You and I, Peter, are a lot alike. We've talked on the phone many times, and nothing to do about mattresses, right? Nothing to do about this industry. Just learning each other and just talking, and we're cut from the same cloth. But Scott Vaughn is one of my biggest influences and biggest supporters, and I can't say enough kind words or good things about him. As a human and his knowledge in this industry, the way that he teaches. Again, you and I were both at that very first Wingo Coach and Mastermind, and the knowledge that was poured into us and that was given to us and the enthusiasm that it was given is something that I'll never forget. I was also at the last Mastermind he's done because I think it's important to continuously to keep learning, to refresh and to stay refreshed. Jeff Giannakavo is another huge influence and is instrumental in the success that not only Jacksonville betting has seen, but our personal growth as well. I love Jeff dearly. Matter of fact, last conversation I had, he literally called me, said, "Hey, I don't want to talk about anything but Mattress. Let's just have a conversation while I'm driving." And man, it felt amazing. The first time my phone ever rang and Scott Vaughn was on the line, him calling me, or Jeff Janakovo called me, or when you call me, Pete, I still get those goosebumps. As silly as that sounds, it's the truth. I get goosebumps, or I get a text from one of you guys. And last but finally not least, Pete, you obviously are. I tell you this all the time. I don't get where I am today, and we don't get where we're at without you, without Scott, without Jeff, without Gordon, without the help of this whole entire community. I love you guys dearly, and I mean that, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm not embarrassed to say that. I think you should tell your friends how much you love them and how much they mean to you, because one day we're not going to get that opportunity. And I love you so much. As Scott said, and I'm sure you're going to hear the sentiments throughout the show, you are the most giving human being I've ever met. And in this industry, you are the top of the food chain, and there's distant seconds and thirds, and it's not even close. So thank you for all that you've done for us. And for me personally, thank you, Scott. Thank you, Gordon. I can't tell you how much information that I get from you every Friday on our calls and from our whole collective group. The day you decide that you don't want to do this anymore, P, is going to be a very sad day. And I hope it's a long, long, long time from now.
I already have my replacement picked out. It's you, RJ.
I love you, buddy. I appreciate you.
I love you
truly.
too. I feel like saying I love you more, like 15-year-olds do. No, I love you more.
I love you more.
That's a great shot. Thank Scott, you've been such a supporter and an inspiration over the years. It's very interesting. And we were just talking about this thing with Bob. He always had a book in his hand. You should always have a book in your hand, especially if you're traveling and you have downtime. Me and Bex love your show. Let's bring the funk. Always bring the funk. Brad, Pete, great lineup today. Gordon, RJ, and Scott. I know this all came together by God's grace, so it's great. Becky Woolman, what a great group of guys there. Lots of knowledge. Zig Ziglar is absolutely amazing. I can listen to his training videos all day. So empowering. Yeah, and I have, and I still do. If I need a pick me up, I put Ziglar on. Like, the dude will live forever. He was special. Okay. We got to get to some questions here. Tara Day couldn't be here because she is busy, but she wanted to ask this question. What is the one piece of advice you would give to a 12-year-old, Pete? And I thought she was just asking me a question. And I said, well, listen to your mom. She laughed and she said, I'll tell Colton. So on a serious note, what would I tell a 12-year-old? I would say, so when I was 12, I was different than most 12-year-olds. So I can only kind of do it from my perspective. I was wrapped pretty damn tight at 12. And I'm going to be a pro football player. That's what I'm going to do. Selling mattresses wasn't on the radar. I'm going to be a pro football player. And I started playing football, and so this is what I would say, at least to me as a 12-year-old, and it may not be the best advice. Relax a little bit. Life is going to throw you lots of curveballs, but work hard and really treasure your friends. If you make it through this life and you have one or two friends at the end of this life, you are amazingly blessed. So that's what I would say. But I'm going to defer to my esteemed panel. Scott, what would you say?
I was just thinking through this. Having three kids who've been through that stage, it's a tough time of life. And so I'd say enjoy being a kid. And don't, like you said, don't take life too serious yet. And work on yourself, work on your vocabulary, but enjoy life. Don't. There's so much competition, like thinking about friends of mine. They're doing all this travel baseball, and it's like constant. They're playing baseball all winter, and soccer and what have you. But it seems like it's more about the parents than it is the kids, and you're wearing yourself out for what? I mean, very few are going to make it even to college. But I'd say just grow and have fun and enjoy being a kid, and don't get caught up in the rat race and stay off screens.
Yeah.
Stay off screen and
And I
stay in
probably shouldn't
books.
say anything, Scott, but I can't help it. I call those people frustrated high school athletes who are trying to live through their children now. Like, dude, do that. You had your chance. Like, if you feel like you blew it, just try to be better at everything else that you're doing in your life. You can't relive your life through your children. They got to have their own lives, and they can't be putting your baggage on top of their back. I mean, it's just not fair. So that's great advice, Scott. Anything else before I cut you off?
Yeah, but staying off screens includes video games. It's the
Mm,
greatest time stealer that absolutely provides no value to you at all. So if
great
a
advice
12
for
year old
adults as
boy,
well.
12-year-old boy, I mean, they're extremely addicted to video games these days. So get
Yeah.
outside, have fun.
Oh, I love that. Get outside and have fun. That's huge. RJ, what you got?
Well,
Advice for a 12-year-old?
I have an unfair advantage. I know Colton personally. So I will tell you this, Colton's not a video game kid. Colton is extremely intelligent, extremely. And I know a lot of people say that and they say about their kids or Colton is extremely intelligent, beyond his years. He's really into drumming and music. He's an accomplished drummer, and I know he wants to get into guitar next. And I'm super proud of him. I've had the opportunity to watch Colton grow up. So here's what I will tell him personally, and I hope he plays this for him. Take it easy on yourself. He's a perfectionist. It's okay. Some of the best people and the greatest, most successful people come out of making mistakes. And mistakes are great because you get to learn from them, right? And the more mistakes you learn, the more learning opportunities you have. So enjoy yourself. Slow down, Colton. I love you. And it's okay to make a mistake.
That's great advice. Gordon, beat that one.
Well, it's been a long time since I was 12 years old, but my advice is so kids, whether they're 5 years old or 15 or 18, adults love to ask this question: what do you want to be when you grow up? And my answer, I would say, if I was telling a 12-year-old, I would say your answer should always be happy and secure. Don't lock yourself into a career. And I challenge everybody on this screen to name people that knew what they wanted to do at 12 and ended up doing in an adult life. And it's not me. And there's a world of opportunity. And when you're 12 years old, and when you're all the way through being 18 years old and going to college, if you go to college or if you go to trade school, you don't even know what's out there. And this career found me. And I'm very, very happy in it. If you would ask me when I was 12, what do you want to be when you grow up? I don't know if it was this, but I'm delighted now looking back that it found me. So I would say just the only thing you want to be when you grow up is happy and secure.
That's great advice. And Tara appreciates all the advice, guys. Mr. Big Red, not all, but the majority of travel baseball parents are crazy. Sincerely, umpire, Mr. Big Red. I also call him Robo ump because he's got these things like he's got this uniform. Becky Woolman, one of the many quotes by Zig Ziglar that I love is, if you are not willing to learn, no one can help you. If you are determined to learn, no one can stop you. Yeah. That's the truth. Zig Ziglar, this is one of the many quotes that is stuck in my brain and so true. And keep that stuck in your brain, Becky, because that is one of the great ones. So thank you for sharing that, Becky.
Becky still reigns as the one who took the most notes ever in one of my master classes, bar none. That girl can take some notes now.
Yeah.
I'd love to see them actually. It'd be pretty cool to see.
Awesome. I think we have, Jack Balsley couldn't be here. He tried to get on, but he had technical problems. What are people doing for low overhead marketing, and what are the best results people are getting from websites? We're gonna try to get into the 20th century one of these days. So I'm assuming that you don't have a website. And if you don't have a website, that is an incredibly huge mistake in today's world. It's become more and more important as time has gone by. Scott, what would your advice be on this one?
Get a website yesterday. You're basically not telling people you're out of business by not having a website. And marketing, low cost marketing, probably RJ is better at this, but he was talking about Facebook marketing is the most inexpensive that's in everybody's hands. My marketing guru, Scott Bidwell, would say advertise to this. Everybody's got one. So, and I always tell the story about going up to Columbus, Ohio to speak at Pete Primeau's event. And me and Bidwell go into a Subway there, and two probably homeless people came in for food for free. They're wanting the Subway person to give them food for free. And both of them had an iPhone in their pocket. So, anyway, but everybody should have a website and some kind of social media presence drawing attention to you and drawing people to you. And I would read Story Brand 2.0, Donald Miller, to get your marketing going. So read that book.
Yep, that's a great book. Story Brand 2.0 by Donald Miller.
Yeah.
Great book. And as a matter of fact, if you haven't read his first book, you should read that as well. But you could start with the second book just fine. That's great advice. And Scott, you did this really fast, but this is the single most important thing. When you find somebody to do your website, look at it on your phone. It doesn't matter what it looks like, really, hardly at all on a desktop. Everything matters what it looks like on the phone, because the behavior of the consumer has fundamentally changed. We, as retailers, have to change with them. And Scott made that comment really, really quickly. I just wanted to unpack it just a little bit.
Yeah.
So important in today's world.
Whoever does your website will know, hopefully. If they don't, it should be optimized for mobile devices. So everybody's going down the road. Where's the best place to buy a mattress?
Yep.
And then when they hit your website, it's got to be optimized for the phone. And one of the best ways to do it is going through your buying group. If you're not in a buying group, get in a buying group. So there's Brand Source, Gordon represents, and Nationwide. Those are the big two in the mattress industry. So both of those have the ability to create you a website. So that'd be probably the least expensive way to get a website.
That's great advice, Scott. I've heard lots of good things about Brand Source's websites lately from retailers. So I did want to piggyback on that comment. I think it's well earned. We've got some people that have switched over to Brand Source, and they're happier with their website there. So that's great advice. RJ, do you want to jump on this?
Yeah, two bits of advice. I was asked a question. I was at Sleep Next recently, and the last question he asked, I said, next week when you go home, what's one of the things that you would implement? I said, next week. That's the problem today, right? He said, we're trying to get in the 20th century. Get in the 20th century today. Today's the day. Pick up your phone and start filming content in your store. Put it on Facebook, put it on Instagram, put it on TikTok, put it on LinkedIn, right? It costs you absolutely nothing. And again, it could just be behind the scenes content, a day in the life of the mattress store, showing you opening, turning on lights, fluffing pillows, straightening the beds, right? Social content. And guess what? It costs nothing. A little bit of time. You already have a phone in your hand. You're already on Facebook. You're already on social media anyway. Let's make use of it. Put it to good use. Film the content. Film your employees. Film yourself. Get comfortable in front of that camera. And guess what? It's authentic. And that's what people are craving these days. They're not craving the staged, the theatrics. They want authentic, real content, right? And then it lets people know when they come into the store, A, who they're going to see and what to expect. They already know these people. When we get people that walk in, they're like, oh, I seen you on a video. I seen you on the news. I seen you on Facebook. I seen you on social media. I think Scott really was one of the last generational stores that he was on every commercial. Him and his wife were on every single commercial. They walked in the store. They knew them by name. They watched the kids grow up in that business because it's authentic. And it's key to do that. Get on front of the camera, start filming stuff, get comfortable, and it costs you nothing. Nothing at all.
And Jack, you're not going to be comfortable. And I can tell when you do some of your videos, you're not comfortable. That's okay. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. After you do a few thousand, you won't have a nerve left in your body. You won't care anymore. But you've got to get the reps in. There's only one way to do that. And
Chris Stone handed me a microphone at RJ's ribbon cutting. He said, just tell us about Jacksonville bedding. So I'm like, well, we got to start at the door. And I don't know how long it was, probably 15 or 20 minutes later. Yeah, there we go, Chris. I just took off and here we go. And Jack, it'll be like that. So my previous boss was a car dealership and he was like that, very natural on the screen. And he came down, did a commercial for me, just spit off a 30-second commercial, one take. I'm like, I'll be 100 years old before I ever be able to do that. Now I've done it for 20 something years. So now it's the camera comes on. I don't even know what I'm going to say. But camera comes on and blah, it just comes out. And so I'm like, you better be taping because there's no second take of this. So it'll come natural to you. But yeah, get in front of the camera. RJ's right. Do one thing you can do is a YouTube channel for yourself and do a product review of every single mattress in your store and make it about the customer, not about you, not about your store. It's about the customer. Everything. That's why story brand's so important. How to select a pillow, how to select a mattress. Videos are good videos. Why us? Things like that. So there you go.
That wasn't fast forward either. He was really moving that fast.
Diana, thank you for your comment. Diana's watching and she said, thanks. Becky Woolman says, next time you're over this way, I'll show you my notes, Scott. I couldn't help it. So many great things that I needed my brain to remember from Scott, Vaughn, Pete, Scott B. I was among the legends. I had to take as many notes and write as fast as I could. Scott B talks fast, but so much good stuff. Knowledge to take home with me. Yep, that's great. All right. Gordon, what would your advice to Jack be?
Well, Scott Vaughn took a little of my thunder because I would definitely say join a buying group. And I do work for Brand Source, and I think their website and the things that they do for dealers are amazing. And if anybody wants to reach out to me via LinkedIn or Facebook, it's not what I do, recruiting members, but I'll at least get you started the right way. But here's what I would do. Definitely need a website, definitely need a Facebook page. Two other things I would do. Number one is today, I would look through everybody who bought a mattress from you in the last 2 years and did not buy an adjustable base. And if they bought a box spring, call them or email them or text them and say, I'm going to buy that box spring back from you towards an adjustable base. And give them $200 off towards an adjustable base just to bring them in the store. Anybody who bought a pillow from you in the last 2 years, tell them that a really good pillow's got about an 18-month lifespan. You're at 2 years. I'm going to give you $25 trade in on your pillow. All you want to do is get people in the store. You need to get people in the store. And the second thing, Jack, that I would say is you don't have to do it alone. I would go to my vendors, your mattress suppliers. They want to sell mattresses. They don't make money by putting a mattress on your floor. They want to send you truckloads and truckloads of mattresses, and say to those guys, I want to do a website. I want to start advertising. I want to advertise your brand. I need some upfront money. And whether you get $200 from them or $500 or $1,000 on it, or if you get $1,000 in free betting or something, those reps, those factories that step up in this time when you need them, those are the guys and the women that you need to stick with.
That's great advice. Absolutely great advice. Jack, do not sleep on this YouTube idea. YouTube, a lot of people don't know this. I've been saying it. I say it 20, 30 times a year, and still some people don't know. Does anybody know who owns YouTube? Google. Think there's an affinity there? I think so. You got to have a YouTube station, channel. You got to have a YouTube channel, and you got to take advantage of that. And Jack, those are great questions. And don't forget good old yard signs. And if that's illegal or zoned out, maybe a sign holder or two. Look at any guerrilla low cost thing that you can do. Posters. Are you using your windows fully? Draw inspiration from other retailers that are not in the industry. Look at people, look at other stores. How are they using their windows? What are they doing to drive traffic that's low cost or no cost? And I can't agree with our gentleman anymore. Now, each one of you guys has got a question. So, RJ, what was your question?
Pete, what's one thing in the industry that the industry in whole truly believes, but in 10 years is going to come back and say, we got it wrong?
The whole industry believes it.
But in your heart of hearts that in 10 years, you said they're going to come back and say, we got it wrong.
Oh, that's a really good question. Here's the problem, RJ. It is changing so fast right before our eyes. Scott and I were talking about this a few minutes ago on the phone. It's almost like, when we were in the early 80s, like if you didn't have Posturepedic and Beauty Rest in your ad, I'm not talking about Sealy and Simmons. You needed Posturepedic and Beauty Rest. They were tested. They tested higher than the actual name brands. That's how much advertising money had been put into those brands, into those flagship brands. And if you didn't have those brands on your floor, your mattress ad was not going to pull. And so today, I would say the D2C brands have taken that position over. And, you are one of the smartest retailers who have taken advantage of it. You have a who's who of those brands. And, I'm just going to let everybody into our conversation. And this is not politically correct. But we're like, so who's the strongest one? I go, it's Helix. Right today, the strongest brand for you to have on your floor to advertise, to pull traffic in, is Helix. Mark Quinn wrote an article. I thought he was out of his mind years ago when he said, the name brands are losing. They are not putting the kind of money they need to put into these national ad campaigns. They're not putting the creativity in there that they should. And you know, Simmons bowling ball was great, right? It was great at that moment in time. It was unbelievably great. And then Serta had sheep, and they still have sheep. That was a home run. World's greatest mattress at Serta, not so much. But the sheep, Sean the sheep, right? It works. So you've kind of you had that shift. Someone, I think we're waking up to it a little bit. Somebody has got to grab and do what Tempur-Pedic did to memory foam to latex. That maybe doesn't answer your question directly. I think that we've known for a long time. I mean, I remember Dave Perry writing an article like 20 years ago, maybe 30 years ago. And he said, you know, of the top 10 brands, 8 of the CEOs sleep on latex, and none of them offer it to their customers. It was crazy, right? And now latex is starting to get some heat, and it should. It's a great material. I would love to see somebody Tempur-Pedic guys latex, so that we have a umbrella to sell under. That would be my non-answer to your question, but it's a great question, and I want to hear Gordon your thoughts on that one.
Well, I sleep on latex, but I am not the CEO of my company. So I'm probably going to raise some eyebrows, but we're saying in the future.
Yeah.
So I think the cooling story is over. I think it was really
over
when iComfort came out and it was competing against Tempur and so on. And so in my spare time, I don't play video games, but I watch old game shows. And in the 80s, they were advertising this thing called bed sack. You might remember it. And the whole idea behind bed sack was it kept your bed warm. And so you didn't have to get into a cold bed. So cooling is part of it's almost like the ticket. You can't have a hot bed. I don't think cooling is going to be a big story. And I really kind of think that natural is going to a little bit fade away. It's hot right now. I know when one of the brands came out with an earth-friendly mattress and how many water bottles it recycled and everything, and their research said people will spend hundreds of dollars more to get an environmentally friendly mattress. And when it came to market time, customers lied to us. They said we would, but they wouldn't. And so I think the natural story, I think it's hot right now, but I think 5 years or 8 years from now, it'll be in the rearview mirror.
I agree. I think that's great, Gordon. Scott, I'm going to have you have a crack at that, and then I'll read Andrew Burt's comment later.
Gordon Hecht has more ideas, unique ideas than any human being I know. He is amazing. We got it wrong. Hopefully, I'm hopeful that it's comfort exchanges. 10 years ago, you would say we got into warranty wars. Remember, Tempur went to 20, Serta went to 25, and then it's like, where's the limit? And then they all came back to 10, back to normal, back to earth. I think the market, and the other thing is, I hope direct to consumer dies off, but I don't know that that's going to happen. I really think the next step is going to be AI comfort or a AI mattress builder, where we put in our 5'10", I weigh 180 pounds. I sleep on my side mostly. This is my body frame. Make me a mattress and ship it to me in 3 days. I think that's where we're probably going to be in 10 years or less. And so whoever develops that first probably will fail. like the bottles that Gordon was talking about, and now natural's hot, but eventually I think that's where we'll be. So I think the one size fits all direct to consumer mattress, I hope it dies a flailing death, because that's an awful thing where people get online still today and say, "Hey, I'm looking for a mattress. What mattress would you buy?" And somebody says, "I got a Casper and I love it." And that's back when Casper had one bed. Now it's developed, but um, I hope we get away from that to where it's like, okay, it is individual comfort, and we are like Bed Gear's got, where you can get individual comfort for two people. And Sleep Number, of course, has done it for years. And so I think it's going to get more. I think that's going to be the next thing. And it might be flippable split heads. It may be, you can get it, order it how you want it. So I think that's where we're headed. RJ will probably start this AI company because he's so good at it, that individually develops.
I'll be the
Anyway,
second one. Thanks.
you'll be the don't be the first one that fails.
So, RJ, I don't want to put you on the spot, but what were you thinking? What would your answer be to your own question?
I actually think it's memory foam. I think not as far as all foam. I think
It'll finally die the death that it should die.
I think we're going in the latex direction. I kind of agree with you. I think the next thing that we're going to see is somebody take over the reins and push latex. It's interesting you said 8 out of 10. I did an MRT back when it first started to have its own community. And I just said, hey, what's everybody sleeping on? And out of like the 27 answers, right? It was like 26 or 27 answers. I think 22 of them or 23 of them all slept on an all latex bed or some kind of variation of a latex mattress. And it's interesting because most of those people did not offer latex in their stores. And I think a lot of that comes because of the education that goes into it, teaching the benefits of latex to the consumer. And most retail stores just want a quick transaction in and out. So I think that's where the real problem comes from. So I think latex, though, is going to be the next evolutionary step in the dying of, or memory foam's not going anywhere, right? Comfort foam, polyurethanes aren't going anywhere, but I think they're going to get less and less prevalent as over the next 10 years as we go on.
I agree. So do you remember what I said, Scott? It's going to feel like it was 5 minutes and I got like an hour more of stuff to do.
Oh, yeah.
It's what happened. Here we are. We're at the end of the hour. Who can be here next Monday? All right. We're doing this again on Monday. Chris, can you pull Andrew Burt up? Andrew Burt asks or says, I think he says, buy the box spring back. Great point, Gordon and Heck. The best vendor relationships aren't transactional, they're partnerships. Amen. Especially when they're really partnerships. When a retailer makes a brand a priority, that brand is far more likely to invest time, resources, and support into the retailer's success. That is true. Find a brand you love, commit to it, and grow together. That's how real market share is built. Boy. All right, we got 2 minutes left. Guys, jump in. It's an interesting comment, and it cuts a lot of different ways.
So I'll just say that loyalty is reciprocal. It's reciprocal between you and your customers and you and your vendors. I did talk with a retailer that was showing 25 beds with 6 vendors. And they were very unhappy with me. And I said to them, you're important to nobody. Mm-hmm. I said, no reps are coming in to help you sell 4 mattresses. And I said, whether it was my brand or another brand, I said, 2 or 3 is what you need. And really with the depth of most and the breadth of almost all lines, including Andrew Burt's line, you need 2 or 3 and tell the story. And be important to your vendors, and they'll do amazing things for you.
Guys?
Couldn't agree more. I'm such a strong believer in building partnerships and doing great for your partners, and treating it. It's important, right? I believe in that word partnership and the definition of the word partnership rather than just vendors. And we have some amazing partners. We're so blessed on all fronts, right? But yeah, it's definitely a two-way street, right? They're, you got to make sure that they're taking care of you on the back end, taking care of your customers, and that they're, taking care of their product if anything comes up.
Scott, we're over, but give it your best try in a minute.
I agree with these guys. Partnerships are very important. It's about relationships and having a rep who cares about you, a rep who's actually worked the floor is important. Pete, that's important to you.
Yeah.
So they know what you're going through. They're going to help you walk through the trials you have every day. We all have them on the retail side. So having someone who understands and is willing to walk through those with you and take care of problems.
Thank you, guys. This was unbelievably great. Krista Price says, great show, gentlemen. And I met her at Scott Vaughn's masterclass. Always leave here and want to do better. That's awesome, Krista. That is part of our mission. We want to inform, but we want to inspire as well. And so my gentlemen here have committed to coming back next week. We're going to do this again because we have some questions that did not get asked, and they need to be asked and they need to be answered. So join us next week. Everybody that was here, Chris, thank you for saying hi. Brad, thank you. Becky, appreciated your comments, and really thank you for sharing that Zig Ziglar quote, because that's one that's near and dear to my heart. So guys, go forth, sell 1 million this week, and we'll see you next week. Same place, same time.